Hello, ladies and gentlemen, my dark knights. How you guys doing? This is the Batbran, and welcome to NFL Week 14, NFL Week in Review. I want to first of all say, how you guys doing? I hope you're all having a excellent day. I am myself very excited for this episode review that I want to talk about today. Let you guys know what I'm talking about. Um, First of all, 10 more days, and well, not 10, 14 more days till Christmas. Exactly 2 more weeks until Christmas, guys. It is almost here, and I'm so excited. You guys don't even know. If you guys are excited, please go ahead and type down in the chat. But anyway, also, come on in the chat. Let's have a good time. Let's discuss about different stuff because Endgame did come. The trailer for Avengers Endgame did come out, and I want to talk about that later. Well, you know what? Let's start off the pod, or not the. I guess this is a vlog, by talking about that. Um, which, let me actually. Oh, I can't rotate my device. Well, that's nice. Um, Sorry about that. Anyway, I do want to say what I think about that Endgame trailer. It looks amazing. We saw Ronan. We saw Tony not thinking what's going to happen. We found out what's wrong with like where Scott Lang is and all that stuff. And I really do think it's going to involve a lot of time. It's going to involve time travel, different stuff like that. Along with speaking of time travel, I do want to talk about a game that I really do think is going to involve time travel. But I'll talk about that next. I do think what's going to happen is Captain Marvel is going to save Tony Stark and them, bring them back to Earth, and then and also, Captain America has a plan on his own to go after Thanos, and he probably is going to die. Either that or Tony's going to sacrifice himself for um, Captain America. I really do see that, or it's going to be the other way around, where he's going to sacrifice himself for Tony. Tony's gonna. Let's go Bears! Let's go Bears indeed, Davey. How's it going? I'm going to talk about that here in a little bit, but I do like what I did see with the trailer. It wasn't too much. Um, it wasn't too big of a trailer. Like we didn't see too much, which is perfect. And then we saw just the title. Yes, yeah, I am. Then we saw the title, which was Endgame, and I knew it was gonna probably be that because Doctor Strange kind of gave it away. But it's the perfect title. And so far my predictions have been right so far, 6 for 6 starting from Sunday, which is absolutely nuts so far. But I'm going to talk about that, and also the last thing I do want to talk about before getting into this um, weekend review. Mortal Kombat 11 has been announced, and I do think it's going to involve time travel because we saw the Scorpion that's from Mortal Kombat 10. And if you did not play Mortal Kombat 10, Raiden basically, I guess, turns evil or takes his god powers a little bit too literally and basically becomes dictator of Overworld. And at the end, it basically says no one's gonna take down this as long as I'm living. And he basically went to the underworld and told all these undead people, like the undead Liu Kang and all them, that the evil Liu Kang, that which I don't know how Quan Chi, if Quan Chi's dead technically in Mortal Kombat 10, how does he have all their soul? I don't know, but anyway, he did say that any one of you tried to come up to this world, I will kill you. And he has gone off the rails, and it looked like in the trailer. I did not like the music for it, but it's whatever. It's a trailer. It's the first trailer that they're going to come out with, and I'm definitely going to get this game because their DLC characters they normally do, NetherRealm Studios does a really good job with their DLC characters. They really go out of like off the wall for them. Like last time they had Predator, Alien, Leatherface, and then some other characters actually from the series. But I do think And then they showed you can pre-order Shao Kahn. So I guess Shao Kahn's going to be coming back in the story, and we're going to get to see some classic characters, basically like a classic Scorpion, whatnot, and all that. So it's going to be different. I really think this is going to be the biggest Mortal Kombat yet. We're going to get a lot of different variations, old and new characters. Um, I'm hoping it's not. It looked gruesome too. Like it showed how gruesome it was in the trailer. So don't buy this for your kids. Hey, don't buy this for your kids. Anyway, let's get into the weekend review, and I'm going to start off with the Thursday night game. Derrick Henry for the Titans. You are a big, big man. You ran all over the Jaguars defense for over 239 yards and 4 touchdowns. Derrick Henry was unstoppable. No one could stop him and led the Titans to a victory, and they're still alive in that wild card race. And I honestly think if there's a team that can make it, never really played Mortal Kombat, but I do like the franchise. Me too. Like, I'm not a big Mortal Kombat fan until I got Mortal Kombat 9, and then I played Mortal Kombat 10, and absolutely love it. Now go on with your. Oh, that's okay, man. I'm gonna read chat at the same time while I'm doing this. Now, I do think that they are gonna compete for a wild card spot. If they get it, they're gonna be dangerous because they've beaten the Patriots already this year. Not only beaten them, they pummeled them, and they played the Steelers pretty hard this season. So, which we're gonna talk about that because oh my God, they may not even make playoffs. But anyway, it was a win for the Titans. Next was the Colts and the Houston Texans on Sunday. The Colts took that one and absolutely dominated the Houston Texans from the beginning. The final score is yes, it looks close, but it wasn't close at all throughout the whole game. Andrew Luck was throwing the cover off the ball, and if they wouldn't have won or lost last week and would have beat the Jags last week, we could have been talking about a completely different situation in the AFC South with a tie between these two teams. But right now, the Colts are at 7-6, still alive in the playoff race. I don't think they're gonna get a playoff. I don't think they're gonna get in though. It's really only between Baltimore and the Titans at this point. But the other team that are in it, I really don't give them a chance because the Colts, they're gonna lose to Dallas this week coming up. And the other team that I want to talk about, the Miami Dolphins, played the New England Patriots, and oh my God, I saw the greatest play of my entire life. Okay, I saw the greatest play of my entire life on that day, on Sunday. How it went was New England was obviously being New England, but Dolphins were hanging around. Were hanging around all game long. They took the lead. Then New England took the lead late in the fourth, and it was maybe 21 seconds left, maybe less than that. They brought it down to like 8, and they were about halfway through the field. They did this thing where they got this short pass, lateraled it back, then moved it up a little bit, lateraled it back again to Kenyon Drake, and he just turned on the speed and went 55 or 50 or more yards into the touchdown, and Gronk was at the tail end of that. They were expecting the Hail Mary pass there, and they were completely wrong because they were not ready for the lateral or the hook and ladder play there. And first of all, Patriots, what are you thinking putting Gronk in the back end of your secondary on a play like that? I understand what you're thinking, Hail Mary pass, but you had to play. Bill Belichick, as a coach that he is, he should have been playing for any situation, including a hook and ladder, and he didn't. And Kenyon Drake, much, much more faster than Rob Gronkowski, who first game back from an injury, or second game back from an injury. And yeah, no chance for beating Kenyon Drake. And they stay alive in the playoff race in the AFC. The other team in the playoff chase in the AFC is the Baltimore Ravens, who played, or for the wild card anyway, it's the Baltimore Ravens who played against the Kansas City Chiefs. And let me just say that was another fantastic game. KC, they actually bottled up Mahomes, which was the first time I can say bottled him up. Now, you technically didn't bottle him up because he still threw for 300 yards and still had 2 touchdowns against you, but he looked inconsistent at points. He did throw an INT. He fumbled once, I think. You did bottle him up. So Baltimore, at least take that as a victory, but you still ultimately lost the game in overtime, but it was a heck of a game. I do think that Baltimore, if they get in, they'll be difficult as a team. But Lamar Jackson got hurt. I don't know if it's serious, but if it is, their playoff chances may be done. Along with the Denver Broncos, who played against San Fran, they lost, got pummeled in the first half, and could never recover because George Kittle had 7 catches and 201 yards in a half. In a half! That's nuts. And he didn't score any after that, but that is a crazy amount of yardage and yardage totals for a tight end in just one half. That's unprecedented. He is probably the best breakout tight end of the year, in my eyes. The top tight end in the league this year, if you ask around to people. Now, they're 6-7. They dropped down to 6-7. They still technically have a chance, but with no Emmanuel Sanders, they look like a different team. They do. I think they may try, but it's the Titans. It's the Titans and the Baltimore Ravens. Those are the two teams you got to look out for. And Baltimore has it tough next week as well. Going forward, I think they have Tampa Bay this week, and then after that they do play the Chargers. So Chargers, really good team right now. They pummeled the Bengals. Or no, they just barely beat the Bengals. Bengals made it interesting and did have a good game all through. Joe Mixon, once again, fantasy-wise, if you had him, great running back. Another 20-point game for him. I think the only thing they shied away from him was because of didn't have great point totals because they shied away from him. Let me say that. Let me get my words correct there. And it showed in games because they were so behind, so they couldn't go and run the ball like they normally do with him. And but they still lost this game. Cincinnati's done. They're eliminated from the playoff picture. And the Chargers right now, they are better than all the other division leaders except for Kansas City right now in the AFC. And that's sad. They really do need to think about changing seeding going forward in the NFL. I do think it's smart for them to do that. Just make it for record because, I mean, I understand. Give the division winners the top 4 seeds, but if they have a division, give them a division, give them a home game. But if you have a better record than them, I'm sorry, a wild card team that's 11-3 should be in the converse, or 10-3 right now. They're 10-3. Let me say that they should be the 2 seed, not the 3 or 4 seed or 5 seed, whatever they are right now. But still, will say this: the Chargers still are the AFC favorite to go to the Super Bowl. In my mind, I will say they deserve to get there. Now also, Kansas City. I don't know. That game Thursday night is huge between the both of them. Kansas City and Chargers. Those two teams clashing for the division title is going to be nuts. I cannot wait for that game. Like that game is going to be off the wall crazy, and I got to give it to the Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to beat them, and they're going to set up a very interesting road in these next couple games with the Chiefs and Chargers. Even though I still think the Chiefs are going to be a formidable team as well. The other game I did want to talk about was the. I'm just going to talk really about the most important games in my mind. Saints won again. They beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just barely, but they had to do it late with Alvin Kamara and Mark Ingram to do it, and they clinched a playoff berth. They're probably going to be one of the top two seeds, if not the Super Bowl favorite from the NFC. And the reason why is because there was a team that lost on Sunday night, which I'm going to talk about later, to my Chicago Bears. Now, some other games I did want to talk about. The Giants pummeled on the Redskins. Redskins are done. Third string quarterback Mark Sanchez looked terrible. They threw in Josh Johnson, who actually did pretty good for the most part for them. But, dude, Saquon Barkley, let me just tell you right now, if he's not Rookie of the Year, there's something wrong with you. You were smoking crack because this guy is amazing. This kid is going to be a great running back for many, many, many years to come. And I'm not even a fan of the Giants, but I want a Saquon Barkley jersey just because. But I will say this too that they did come out pretty good, the Giants, and the Giants are still technically in the playoff races statistically, but they're not. They don't have much of a chance either. Next game I wanted to talk about was the Steelers and the Raiders. Steelers coming in with no James Conner because he hurt his leg in the last week. And coming in against the Raiders, which was a team that was looking very, very, very bad. But they've been playing good football for Gruden for the last 4 or 5 weeks. Coming in, it was a good game from the start. Raiders marched down the field, scored. I think Jared Cook caught a touchdown. Or no. Yeah. I think. And it was 7-0 for a while. And then Steelers tied it. Stephen Ridley for 1 yard. Jalen Samuels did look good in place of James Conner. And it looks like James Conner is probably going to be out next week too. So look forward to Jalen Samuels in their fantasy lineup against New England. By the way, what did I think about Jalen Samuels? He just basically did the same thing Connor does now. He didn't have a lot of rushing yards, but receiving yards, he's a pretty good PPR back. But really, the thing was Juju. Juju is having a great year, breakout year this year. And I think Antonio Brown's a little ticked off about it, but I think he's okay considering the team is winning with him, with both of them, and they're better off with both of them gelling together and working together, winning again. But they didn't win this game, and the reason why was Roethlisberger got hurt took down with a bad injury. Well, from what it looked like, it was a rib injury, and he was taken out for most of the third quarter. Came back out, but they didn't bring him in till 5 minutes left, and they didn't bring him in until the Oakland Raiders took the lead 17-4. No. 17-14, and then he comes out, leads them, marched them down the field. They got a touchdown, I believe. Yeah, I'm almost pretty sure they got a touchdown. Yeah, they got a touchdown, 20-17. Then they scored. It was 21-17. Then they scored 24-21 with like 21 seconds left. Everyone thought it was over, and then they I they almost did pulled a Miami Dolphins, a Miami Miracle, because um, James Washington caught the short pass, flipped it to Juju. Juju kept going. I honestly thought he was gone. 43 yards, right down to right around the 30, 25, which was a cheap shot for Chris Boswell. You think, oh, Chris Boswell's going to make this. Chris Boswell's going to make this. But he had a bad day today because he missed a couple. He missed a couple field goal. He missed a field goal. A couple field goals today, and a lot of kickers have. Gostkowski, who was very good for New England, missed an extra point, and if he would have, that Miami Miracle would have basically just tied the game, you know. But instead, they lost by 1 point. But the Steelers kicker goes out there, Boswell, and he tries to kick it and trips and falls. Game over. Raiders win, and the Steelers have lost their fourth straight. And this team, right, or I think it's third straight actually. And this team right now, they are in free fall. They don't come to play against the Patriots next week. They could be out of a division because the Ravens are right half game behind them again. And I see it this way. Say you beat the Patriots. Okay. Right after that, you got to go to New Orleans and beat New Orleans. Good luck. You're not going to beat New Orleans. So that puts you at what? 8-6, 8-6-1 with Baltimore. Well, okay, we'll give Baltimore a win. They'll be tied. Baltimore will lose to the Chargers. Baltimore will lose to the Chargers, getting them down to 8-7. And then it comes out in the last game against the Bengals in Cincy. And you don't know what's going to happen there. I think they'll pull it out. I still think the Steelers will win the division. But if they're going to make it interesting. If not, they could get a wild card. But they are not making it easy for themselves. They must love drama or something because they're struggling. Now, the next game I did want to talk about was the Dallas Cowboys and the Philadelphia Eagles. One of the best games of the year, to be completely honest. And it showed. Philly came out with a really good game plan, and so did Dallas. What happened was Dallas. It was a very back and forth game because I was watching it with Clint on Sunday, and Dallas marched down the field, scored. Philly came down, they scored. I mean, it was a good game. Dallas was leading at first. It was like 6-0 at halftime. Was not a good score, and then the scoring broke open in the second half. I think Dallas scored again, and then Philly scored like 10 or so points. They tied it back up. And then Amari Cooper, not once, not twice, but three. Well, we'll get into that. But not once, but twice breaks two humongous plays in regular time, and takes them into the lead twice. Now Philly does come back. They tied up late in the fourth quarter, and then overtime happened. And I'm watching this game. Me and Clint are watching this game, and Clint just tells me to shut up because of how my predictions have gone. And he goes, because I don't want you to jinx this and screw this up. He's a huge Dallas Cowboy fan. And we're watching this, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know what they won. Dallas won the coin toss for overtime. So basically, how overtime works: if you're the first team that scores, you win. But if you get a field goal, the other team will get a chance to get it. Well, Dallas, I think, went for it. I was pretty sure that they go for it on fourth down. Well, that was the fourth quarter they did that. But they're driving down the field, and I saw an amazing play that I still to this day will call the Cooper Scooper, because this was a heck of a play, folks. What happened was they were down around the 15-yard line. They were in line to get a field goal because they basically took all the time off the clock. Pretty much brought it down right down around the 2-minute warning in the overtime. And what happened was I thought it was going to be picked because Dak throws the ball and throws it at Amari Cooper's direction. It hit off of the Philadelphia's corner's knee, and then Amari Cooper tips it up, catches it, and walks right in the end zone. Game over. Philly is done in the division, and so is the Redskins. And honestly, Dallas is going to win that division. And if it stands today and the standings stay the same, which I think it will, we're going to have a rematch between the Seahawks and the Cowboys. And I want to see that so bad because if you guys don't know, the last time the Seahawks and the Cowboys faced off against each other in the playoffs, it wasn't since that Tony Romo bought snap debacle a long time ago. I think 2006? Or was it earlier than that? I think it was earlier than that. Or later than that, I'm sorry. But this team is dangerous. Dallas, his defense is very dangerous. And if any team faces them in the playoffs, whoever faces them, good luck because you're going to need your best offensive game, and even that is going to be very difficult for you to score on this defense because this defense is very good, but just not as good as the one I'm going to talk about right now. My Chicago Bears in Sunday Night Football faced off against the mighty LA Rams, and it was a really good one. At first, the Bears came out with a really good defensive game plan, shut down Jared Goff. Jared Goff threw three, maybe four picks all game. Todd Gurley was bottled up. Todd Gurley couldn't do a thing. I think Todd Gurley had like 53 total yards all game, maybe less than that. And yes, they did give up some plays in the pass game, but not a lot because Jared Goff was throwing picks left and right. And this defense, I'm telling you, we're number one in takeaways. We're number one in interceptions. We're top five in sacks, and points against and all that stuff. This defense is just as dangerous as the Dallas Cowboys defense, if not more. And since we got Mac, this defense has just been changed around and turned around and looks completely different now. And I do say that Chicago is going to definitely win the division because of what happened on Monday night, which I'm going to talk about last. What happened was the game started off very easily. They marched down the field. I am glad to see Mitchell Trubisky back, but he was almost just as bad as Jared Goff. He threw three picks. He was just as bad. Now, he did say after the game, he's promised he is going to play better the rest of the season. I hope so. I hope you do, Mitchell. I really hope you do because right now I don't see it and I do not believe it. But what it was is like they came down the field, scored 3-0. Rams came down, scored 3-3. Then they did the same. Then the Bears did the same thing, 6-3, 6-6, and it was 6-6 going into halftime. Then the turnaround happened where we got a safety. We got a safety, stopped him at the one, and we sacked him immediately. Akeem Hicks, Eddie Goldman, both of them combined for a safety. And we got the ball. Then we marched right down and scored the touchdown, making it 15-6. And the score stayed that way for the rest of the game because our defense came in and shut down the Rams' offense. Now, I would have liked more points scored for our offense, but it is okay. When you have a defense like we have, our defense was better than our offense, but I think we'll turn it around going forward, especially when we face the Packers next week. If we can beat the Packers next week, The Bears will be back in top on top of the NFC North where they belong. And it feels good to say that once again because I've been waiting for this moment for so long. And it's finally happened. And well, it's going to happen. It's finally going to happen. And the Bears are back in the playoffs too. And people are saying this defense, they beat the Rams, they can beat the Saints. I think it's possible. Now that I've seen them beat the Rams, I really do think this team can make a deep playoff run. And I'm telling you right now, if they make it to a Super Bowl, I may crap a brick. Okay? I may go nuts. And the reason why they're there and one game away from winning the division is because the Vikings lost to the Seahawks last night in Monday Night Football. Seahawks forced like 6 turnovers. Kirk Cousins, man, he robbed Minnesota of $82 million because he stinks. He is 0-4 in his career on Monday night. He has had an absolutely terrible season, and it shows because this Vikings team, no matter how good their defense is, their offense with Kirk Cousins is too inconsistent, and they fall once again. And too many turnovers. That was the reason how they lost. Honestly, they had too many turnovers, and that'll kill you as any team. If you lose the turnover battle, you're gonna lose the game. It's obvious. But now the Vikings have to fight for a play or wild card berth, and with the teams that are behind them, even though the Packers are statistically not in the thing, like I can see the Bears losing to the Packers, and the Bears clinching next week, and the Packers possibly making it in. They're still trying to make it in, but I'm not looking past any opponent at all. I don't see that. I don't see that happening though. I do see. I kind of would like the Vikings not to make it, but they'll probably get in. It's the Vikings. They'll get in. But it'll set up the Bears Vikings yet again, and Seahawks Cowboys, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with that. I'd much rather see a different team get in than the Vikings, because if that's the case, then Bears will have a chance to have an easy wild card win. I don't know. Beggars can't be choosers. I'm just glad that they're back in the playoffs, baby. I'm just glad they are back in the top of the division where they belong. And that is all the time I have for this live vlog slash NFL week in review slash preview. But if you guys did enjoy, please go ahead and hit that like button. Okay, this is a like button right here. Go ahead and hit that and comment on anything you may want to comment about. Your thoughts on the playoff race going forward, what you think is going to happen next week or going forward in these next couple weeks, or just anything in general. I'm normally pretty active in my comment section. And also, subscribe if you haven't already to the Batbran Armory. Join the Dark Knights. Join the Batbran. You will not regret it. And I will see you in the next one. Stay awesome, my dark.